Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com, and in this video we are going to do a review for Collie, who's got a well-known journey in our forum and is playing 5NL Zoom. I believe he's now just moved up to 10NL, but this video will be 5NL Zoom with a Jivaro HUD. Two tables, basically just trying to climb the levels. And that's all we really know right now. And with the HUD, because it's Jivaro, there won't be that many stats, and the stats will look slightly different compared to the like a Poker Tracker 4 HUD. But we will definitely talk through that a little clearer, and just going to speak about the spots as and when they happen, basically. So we're going to launch into the video. Top right, it's just started, so I didn't see the pre-flop action, but Ace-Jack suited looks like we probably opened under the gun, got called off the button and got peeled from the big blind. Big blinds then led almost pot and we flatted. I think that's absolutely fine. We're trying to bring in some action behind us, and of course just not losing action from the big blind donk. So perfect situation now. We are heads up, and this guy is still betting pots. And yeah, I think we can just go ahead and call there on the turn. It may seem a little bit strange, but you know, the guy's only got 98 back. If we jam and he folds, it just feels a bit silly. We're going to call off any river. There were no flush draws on the flop. I know it did develop a backdoor flush draw, but I don't think we can really be scared of that. Queen 10, 8-10. Yes, by flatting the turn, we let him get there. We don't charge him, but generally we just have just too strong of a hand here, and we just don't want to lose action, and we're in position. So I actually quite like the call line, and obviously if villain checks river, we should just go ahead and call. Just go ahead and jam, sorry. And what happens is the guy has 9-10 off, and we win it all. And that's the thing. Just because you think someone's committed, maybe they're not. You know, if we jam that turn, maybe he just goes ahead and folds that 9. So yeah, I really like that line in position. Excuse me. 3-8 is going to be a fold. Queen 4 suited looks like we defended an open from the cutoff. I think that probably should go under a 3-bet or fold rather than peel. Ace-9 off, we just open folded the button. That's a very poor fold. We should always be opening Ace-9 off on the button. Just come in for a min raise will be fine. Ace-7 off here in the cutoff, we open. Such interesting that we folded Ace-9 on the button, but open Ace-7 in the cutoff. Ace-7 in the cutoff, yeah, I mean, it's always going to be borderline. I think it's fine. Not too much information on the players, basically, so it's unsure to say if it's a definite open run, but in a vacuum it's probably okay. Open under gun, ace queen suited, we've gone for just under 2.5x. I would personally just 3x all positions and min raise the button. Jack queen off on the button on the right hand table. I actually prefer to 3-bet. We have blockers for jacks and queens, ace queen, ace jack. We can make him fold hands which dominate us post flop, such as king queen and ace queen, ace jack and king jack. So we can either fold a couple of those hands, like king jack and possibly ace jack, and then the hands which dominate us post pre-flop, we can actually beat post-flop because, well, he's going to check fold a lot of flops to us. So jack queen suited, I think I would flat. Jack queen off, I think I 3-bet. Sorry, I've got to excuse my cough. Very annoying, I'm sure. Ace queen suited, we flop top, backed on a flush draw. Just like to see a bet here, and I think 2/3 is fine. Jack queen, we flop top pair. We should probably just be going for a call. And once it's been checked to us, we should bet. I think 25 into 45 looks like a good size as well. Obviously, don't really want to get check raised here. This is interesting that the big blind's doing it. He's opening queen 10 or a set. Not too sure we can put him on that. Facing this overcall by Ferrari GTO, I think I would probably call once because of the running straight draw, but definitely can understand the fold there. Very odd spot there with the jack queen. I think folding is definitely on the safe side, and you know we can never be doing too much wrong there. But I think we should probably float once. We're in position. We've got that running straight draw. We block, you know, top set. We block ace queen and king queen. He's going to pull up the hand history for us here. We're actually up against 2 sets, so yeah, great fold. Kind of feels that way versus the under the gun guy when he goes ahead and check overcalls that flop. But just with that jack, you know, we could be up against hands like ace jack, ace king, king jack, jack 9. So I wouldn't hate the peel, especially in position, but definitely understand the fold. Ace queen, we're going to call a 3-bet out position. I like that. We don't really have any reads on this guy, but we don't want to fold. We also just don't have enough reason to go ahead and 4-bet, so I like this line a lot. I'll go ahead and bet this turn now. Once Villain's checked, he will probably just have like Ace King, Ace Queen, and possibly Ace 10 type hands. So we should just go ahead and try and win the pot because a lot of his hands beat us. And you know, the ones like tie we can get to fold. Interesting that he bets there on the jack. And yeah, we just go for a check fold. But I prefer just to see a lead there. Generally, when people check flops, they have nothing. Queen 10 suited, we're going to fold there. If there's a diamond on the flop, I would have floated with 2 overs and all the back doors. Ace 5, we're getting a pretty good price, so probably peeling is pretty close there. I'd probably go ahead and peel myself. King Queen, I'll just go ahead and min raise the button. But he's a 2.5 extra, and that's fine. I don't like a squeeze at all with Ace 5 off. And I also don't like the sizing. If I were fold, I'd go slightly bigger here. I don't like it as it just does not play well out of position multi-way. And I know the point is to get them to fold, but I think in today's games we just don't see enough folds for Ace 5 to be profitable. But one thing I would be interested in is a forum thread being made about that, and to pull in some of the other coaches, just to see what their play would be there versus unknowns. That would really interest me. Because that is one of the issues here, we are just playing against complete unknowns. 5-10 suited and 5-3 suited, we're going to fold. I do not like this defend with 5-3 suited in the small blind. I think that is a pretty obvious fold. Out of position, junk hand. Yeah, it's just never going to be a good spot. If you wanted to play hands like this, then, you know, play multi-way in position. Not out. King 7 suited, very easy flat call for me here. We're in position. We're getting a good price. We've got a good hand. It would just be a very easy call. Once we 3-bet and get min 4-bet, or pretty much minned, then it's going to be a call. On this flop, we can raise, we can call, we can go all in, we can do anything we want, versus this guy's stack size. Turn it's an obvious call here. And the guy's got 3-4 suited, and we make a flush, 3 of a kind, and everything else that we need. Ace 3 suited here, I'd like to see a fold with this small blind in the mix. Ace 2 suited under the gun is close, but we opt to fold. Lots of action, very fast. I feel like all I've done is speak really fast, so I do apologise. But you can, of course, pause these videos for everyone on YouTube and now on PokerVIP.com. It's a lot easier to track back to certain moments, so, you know, feel free to just go ahead and rewind. But 2 tables of Zoom will offer fast-paced action. But yeah, that King 7 suited hand, basically you're in position, you're getting a good price, and you have a good playable hand. I feel like we could maybe 3-bet King 7 off, and we should always have a reason to why we're 3-betting. I guess your reason is you wanted him to fold, so let's have some stats on him, which shows that he's going to fold when we start making these moves. Queen 10 suited, I'd like to see a 3-bet here. Prefer 3-betting over calling, just because we're out of position. We're going to check fold a lot of flops, and we're also got a hand that can often be dominated. Wow, all in there by Mo Money 2222. I would definitely have marked him as a weak player. Always good to just have colour coding and notes on people. Ace Jack under the gun +1 is an open. It is definitely not a fold. Sizing wise, yeah, I would definitely say we should start going, you know, 3x or more positions and min raising the button personally. People just call a lot more bets. We can just make a lot more money by doing it, by creating bigger pots. Also just stops people peeling as wide. Three, 4 suited, we are going to check. 8-9 suited, we are going to call. 3-4 suited here. I think we just lead this turn. I mean, we have 0 showdown value at all, and this villain has checked the flop, so we should definitely be betting the turn. We've got to basically scrap to try and win these pots. 8-9, yeah, I mean, river's definitely a bet here. I don't know why we'd give that up. The villain obviously just has overcards, and he's going to fold them a lot on boards like that, so it's a very easy bet. 8-9 suited again, I would just call turn. I don't like this jam at all. Again, just let people bluff. Don't ever let someone, you know, go ahead and fold, you know, his barrels. 9-10 off, this is a very ugly defend versus a button open. It should just be a fold generally. Or you can sometimes 3-bet it, but with stats. If we are going to play this hand, we should now be betting though. So this turn should be a very easy bet with 2 overs and a gut shot. And this guy obviously does not have much. River should definitely be a bet. We've got to start winning these pots. But generally rivers we're going to get called at a higher frequency with face size than we would on the turn. Just because that deuce changes nothing and they would expect us to bet all of our made hands on turn. So make sure we get those turn bets in a little more frequently. I do apologise, I'm very clogged up. Play reviews are coming back stronger than ever. We're going to be trying to do one per day again. We do apologise, but basically the changeover from making the YouTube player embed has delayed these things slightly. 10 jacks offsuit, I fold under the gun normally, but I would open 10 jacks suited. Gets through though, so that's a nice thing. Jack Queen here on the right hand table. It's a great hand to 3-bet versus a button open. And discussed this before, but basically we block a lot of strong hands, and for hands that call which dominate us, we can beat post flop just by c-betting, repping boards, double barreling, triple barreling, or anything else we need. He's got a very active mouse as Collie, hasn't he? He's just constantly dancing around. Ace King, just an easy 3-bet here, and a stack off versus a 44 big blind stack. Just never folding, even though we've got no stats. I mean, just someone with, you know, under 50 big blinds, we've got Ace King. I mean, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and 3-bet call. Ran into a pretty strong hand here, need an ace or a 10. That's not a diamond. Sadly we brick, but, you know, that is totally standard. Obviously, you just want to play Ace King very strongly. You know, we block aces and kings, even though he woke up with it there. If we make a pair, it's going to be top pair, top kicker. If we make a straight, it's going to be the nut straight. And if we make a flush, it is going to be a nut flush at least half of the time. Nines here, we opened under the gun, called a 3-bet and folded a king high flop. I would have called because we had the running straight draw and we're in position, and people are always going to see bet a dry king high flop. 7-8 here, we hit. I'd just go for a check call, just trying to induce more action on turns and river. So yeah, turn will just be a check for me. I don't like leads in these spots when we hit the board so hard, because we often just face lots of folds, and generally if we do get called on river, it will just be for our single bet and we will not often get raised. So in a spot where we could check call, check call, check jam, I feel like we ruined our chances there, and we did just get called down twice. I mean, maybe villain had like a bottom pair and would have checked, but I like to induce and I like to try and get the maximum. I feel leading isn't the best way to get the maximum there. (10-4) suit offsuit, we're going to fold. So these games are still action packed. Jack Queen off, we fold under the gun, but we open Jack 10 off. I think that should just mean Jack 10 off is a fold. Ace 2 suited, I don't like the flat here, I prefer a 3-bet. Again, it's just a hand that's going to be dominated so often. Ace 9 suited to go for a defend just by calling, I like it. Flop we can check raise or check call. Turn we should just be going ahead and bet. I would go 2/3 personally, because we just get an awful lot more folds. River here I would bet again, but I would definitely bet higher than 35 cents. We're giving him a very good price, and basically he's going to call us with whatever he had on the turn for that price. He makes a good call there with nines, but yeah, we should bet larger on turn and larger on river basically. Ace 10, good spot to 3-bet here. We are deep, we put this guy under pressure. Ace Jack suited, we defend small blind, I think that's okay. I really have to apologise for the sniffing, I can imagine it's been annoying. Ace Jack, yeah, we just have to call here. It'd be nice if there was a heart on the flop, but we're not going to ever fold top pair and a straight draw. Turn gets a bit dicey if he bets again, but you only bet half pot, so I'd definitely call there one more time. I think villain could be betting the same hand. He could be betting ace 10. He could be barreling because we didn't 3-bet pre, so we don't often have ace queen, ace king, kings, queens, or aces. So yeah, I think he can often be just double barrel bluffing there because we don't rep much at all. Ace 4, I like a c-bet here. I mean, we simply have nothing and next to no showdown value, so betting is good. River comes another heart and we instantly give up. I think I would have liked to see a large bet there just to put his mid hearts under pressure and his top pairs in a world of pain. I think we gave up a bit too quick there. You know, straights, flush has all come out, and if this guy is a king, he's going to fold. And if he has like the 9 of hearts or something like that with pocket nines, then he's going to not feel great facing, you know, 1.5x pot bet or something like that. 8 here, I'd like to see a check call. On turn now, we should just start leading. And I think 2/3 is fine. We can even go slightly larger. Ace-9's a terrible fold on the right-hand table. Small blind opened. We should always be defending there. And just a call would be fine. Remember, blinds go in there blind. People challenge for blinds a lot. If you're in position with a strong-ish ace, then you should probably be playing that hand. And not just letting him steal your money. Because you're just going to get exploited to the max. Seven nine suited, we can just go ahead and call. I don't see any reason to do anything else with such a nice playable hand. Flop will be a check fold. If there was a club on the flop, I would be more tempted to check call, but with an ace jack 9, it should always just be a check fold. King 10 suited should just be a flat. Yep, nice. We've got top pair, king kicker, backdoor, flush draw, back running straight draw. Actually, do we have the running straight draw? No. This is the backdoor flush draw, which we have turned. We just call again. And river, we brick and see a jack, and I'd probably like to see a fold on this river. If we face another bet, I think villain's going to be pretty strong. I don't think he's going to be betting queen 10. So yeah, I'd probably just fold here. I think this just screams strength, and I think he would go for a check, even with, you know, a hand like ace 10 a lot there. 6-8, we should just go ahead and bet. We opened it under the gun, pretty loose open, but I'm a fan of that. I am a fan of that. 3s under the gun. It's pretty close. I mean, we've got no stats on these guys. I would open it if the table looked tight, but I would generally fold deuce 3s and 4s pre-flop and open 5s plus. But that does definitely depend on the gameplay itself. Ace deuce here. It's going to be a fold. 3s, we're going to go ahead and defend. It's pretty close. I mean, we can definitely just opt to fold there. But that is a contention in the poker world of do you set mine or do you fold. Ace jack there versus a cut-off open. I think we should see at least a flat. Even though he did 4-exit on the right table, I think he just looked like a weak player, and our hand is pretty strong. Queen 6 suited, we auto fold the button. That should definitely be in our button opening range. Seven 8 suited. We can go for a 3-bet here. Guy seems to fold to 3 bets 33% of the time by the looks of it, so 33% of the time seems good. And we also just have a super playable hand. I'd like to see a small bet on this flop, like 30, because I think that's what we do with our strong hands, like aces or kings. We'll be begging for action, so we can bet small and bet big on turn and river. Turn is definitely a bet. When we check, he's going to bet a lot and we're going to just fold, which I don't like when we've got a straight draw. And once we develop equity, when we're bluffing, we should continue bluffing. 6-8 suited should be an open. King Queen off under the gun is definitely an open. Ranges are all over the place here. We open Jack Queen, we open Jack 10, we fold King Queen. It just doesn't make enough sense. 6-8, we check the flop. Now, why is checking 6-8 bad on the flop? Well, we have 8 high. We want to try and win these pots, and we also have equity. You know, the 9 gives us the nut straight. Ace deuce, we defend a min raise in the small blind, which I like. Turn should just be a check, and we should just call any river or bet if check to. Just half pot, I think, maybe slightly less. Just try and get a king to maybe call, or possibly a 10, thinking that we had a missed flush draw. And if we ever get raised there, we can just go ahead and make a pretty easy bet fold. And anyone watching, to get your free member review, just click the link in the description below. Jack 4, we're going to fold. 6s is just going to be a pretty clear open if it folds to us. And if someone opens ahead, we can just go ahead and make a decision. But now it's on us, we're going to open. 9-7 suited there should definitely be an open. I feel we're fast folding a little bit too often, especially when we go through a bad phase. We seem to just fold a bit quicker and miss a lot of obvious opens. 6s in position, I would call. See, that's interesting. We were slightly deep with the 3s, and we called, and we were slightly shallower with the 6s, and we fold. And 3s are out of position, 6s are in position. So it doesn't really correlate that perfectly. So I think the 6s is a clearer call than the 3s were. Ace-10 suited, pretty bad flop for us in a sense when you hit top pair, so I'll probably just go for a check call here. And the reason I would check call is just try and control the size of the pot. Turn now, once everyone's checked, let's bet, and let's bet big. I would go much larger than this. We're giving anyone 3-1 with anything. It's basically just allowing people to exploit us and to just call and get there with, straight draws for a very good price. So, if I was you, I would have bet like 85% pot. Jack Queen, I am fine just calling this blind versus blind in position. 8s, I'm happy to just call again. 3 betting doesn't make much sense because we're not doing it for a bluff, and we're not doing it for value. Jack Queen here, I'm just going to call with my 2 overs and a gut shot. Happily. And we develop a open-ended straight draw now, which we're just going to go ahead and call again. We can bluff lots of rivers, or we can just get there and get lots of value. And we do back into the nuts, and this guy snap bets half pot. I'll probably just make this. Yeah, I think 228 actually looks pretty good. 8s, I would just fold with 2 players behind. This guy's betting into 3 people and a queen 3-3, so I expect it to be strong. Which he was. Or I at least imagine so. Ace-7 suited, we're going to open, and 4-9 off, we're going to muck. Really enjoying being back making these reviews. Like I say, going to try and get the 1 a day out again, alongside our other amazing coaching videos. We've got people like Darius, aka Komodo Dragon Jesus. We have guests like Mike Gano and Ben Hales. We also have top coaches such as Doug Polk and Ryan Free, all the way from Upswing Poker, creating us free content for you guys to enjoy. And on top of that, we have Weasel and many others, such as Sean Capul, the PLO high stakes grinder. So lots to cover, everybody. Make sure you go check it out, PokerVIP.com, and just go to the coaching videos. Ace Jack, we're going to go ahead and open. Pointless looking at anything, really, with Ace Jack. It's just an automatic open in the cutoff. It's good to know what people are like, of course, but we can just automatically open that. We're going to go for a squeeze here with queens. 60, 65 is fine. Even pot 262 or whatever that was would be fine as well. 7-8 suited, definitely opening mid position. Queens, I'm just all in, going with it. I expect this guy to have like ace king or jacks. Yeah, ace king. No, I just need to hold. Boom, boom, boom. 7-8 suited unfolding. This guy just does not have enough money for us to win. It's quite a large 3-bet as well, just under 3x. It's definitely a fold. We are just never going to hit hard enough to win enough money there when he doesn't even have 3 times the pot behind. So this is just going to be a fold. Let's not get fancy on this one. Jack-10 suited, I'm happy to just flat the button. Very playable hand in position. Flops incredibly well. Not this time, though. But, we just flattened on the button, defended our button. It was checked to us. I think we just go ahead and bet here when we've got nothing. We're going to get a lot of calls off ace highs, so we should definitely be willing to double barrel, or possibly triple barrel here. Versus the lucky Kinitun, whatever his name is. Maybe not the best person to barrel, but yeah, the pro could definitely be check calling with ace high there. We auto tick check fold, and we win with 10 jack suited. I'd probably bet that river. If someone's going to be checking that river, they're probably not going to be that strong. And I think we can definitely rep, houses, straights, aces, and everything else that we need to be repping there. When villains kind of rep like a top pair, 6s/7s, pocket 8s type hand. Maybe 6s the straight's got there, so that's not a great example, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we're going to pause the video there, and I'm going to come back with a conclusion. Okay, so back here for the conclusion, and like you guys know, I don't talk about the positives. I spoke about them throughout the video. So we're just going to discuss some negatives, and the first point is a very simple one, which is just developing opening ranges. Quite often I was confused. Why are you opening Jack-Queen but folding King-Queen? Why are you folding Jack-Queen but opening Jack-10? It never seemed to be solid or consistent, so you really need to understand like which hands you're opening from each position, and to have like a set range which you can adapt on, basically. So that is definitely the first point we need to make. Second, flat this from the small blind. You're quite like 9-10 off, and there were a couple other hands, and I was just thinking, these are definitely folds or 3-bets. They were not actually flats from the small blind. From the big blind, a lot of those hands were flats, but from the small blind, with the player behind to act, and the possibility of going multi-way, that's why they're not flat calls. So you definitely need to think more about that. So that leads us on to the next point, which is to develop a small blind 3-betting range. Go onto the forum, make a thread. Which hand should I 3-bet from the small blind versus a whatever type villain, a reg, for instance. C-bet more often. And that also ties in with the next point, is to bet more with weak hands that are poor at showdown. You had like hands which maybe were like 8 high, but you had a straight draw, which you check. I mean, they're just obvious bets, because you're never going to win with 8 high enough of the time by checking. And you're going to face a lot of bets on the turn, and you're just giving up the pot, basically, when that pot is actually yours to be won. And also, just generally speaking, you just let a lot of pots slip through your fingers. It's very obvious these guys just had high cards. It's very obvious this flop hits your range, so bet, and bet a couple of times. Take more time for each decision. That basically incorporates all of the bullet points and all of the negatives, that if you just actually took like 2 to 3 seconds longer for each hand you played, you'd be playing them better, because you'd know, oh no, I shouldn't 3-bet this hand, I should bet this hand, I should bet this amount because of this. And leading us onto the next thing is, bet sizing. Think more about bet sizing. This guy looks weak, so I want to bet larger to make him fold, so then on the river I can bet larger again to make sure he folds. Stuff like that. And to take more time putting villain on the range, very important, and something I don't think you actually did there, really. I think you were kind of just playing a little bit, robotic, and not in the greatest sense. A little bit too automatic, a little bit too, just not... Yeah, you just weren't concentrating by the looks of it. Villain has checked this flop. What does that mean? Well, it probably means he's got nothing. I mean, I know people check raise, I know that's not... it's not a set point, but if villain's going to be, checking a certain flop, probably means they're not that happy or they're trapping. I mean, let's just say that, So once they check the turn, it probably means they absolutely have nothing. So then on the river, it probably means we should actually bet. And then what do we need to think about when we're betting? Well, the size, if we rep it well, and if villain definitely has nothing. And we just got to take all that time to think about all of these points to make the correct decision. I think that's the main point, is you need to just think more about each hand you play. Why am I opening this hand under the gun? Should I open this hand and fold this hand? Why am I flattened from the small blind? Would it be better to 3-bet? Villain is checking, I have nothing. Should I bet? I have nothing. I'm in position, I opened. Should I bet? Just lots of these points, which if you literally just thought it as clearly as I was just stating it there, just a very simple point, the answer would actually become the opposite of what you did throughout that video in a lot of circumstances. So that's the best advice I can give you, really, is to just think a lot clearer and to not just be clicking buttons as quick as you were. But overall, a very good player, very solid, can make a lot of money from poker for sure, but once you sort out these 6 or 7 problem areas, you'll be insanely good. Like, you'll get to 25 50 and whatever as quick as you want. But these are the areas I found, and I think once you plug these, you're going to crush. So I hope you enjoyed it. This was Colley's play review, and I was John for PokerVIP.com. Go look at the tables.